Hello everyone and welcome back to My Journey, the series in which I take you along my path to gathering every Trackmania Track of the Day author medal. Starting us out in volume number 6 today, and for author medal 340 we have the track Valkyria, which was made by Saffron. Valkyria was a speed fun track that over 700 players have achieved the author medal on. This one took me 21 minutes to get, finishing with a 51.394. I thought Valkyria was a pretty good track, and I'm sure when it first released it was regarded even higher, but I did have some issues with the camera in this track. Switching to camera 2 basically fixed all of it, but driving this one in camera 1 at the start was pretty difficult with a lot of awkward or even straight up bad angles with the camera. And the worst offenders were this magnet wall right here with no camera change, and also at the end of the track there's an upside down driving section again with no camera change. So it's not a huge deal for me to have to drive this in camera 2, but I'm sure some people who are used to driving strictly in camera 1 may have some issues with that, but I do highly recommend driving this track in camera 2. For author medal 341 we have the track Glacier Slide, which was made by Canoey90, and this was the track of the day on October 15th of 2022. As you can see, Glacier Slide was an ice track, and this one had over 1,200 players with the author medal on it. I got this one quite quickly, only taking me 4 minutes, finishing with a 59.988. With the small amount of time I spent on the track, I thought it was alright, and I do remember playing this one back when it first released, and I was just shy getting the author medal back then. It certainly helps out that the track has a couple of straight line ice sections which are now faster than they were previously, so the author medal is going to be a little bit easier than it was. The track is pretty forgiving when it comes to the ice slides. I didn't have any problems with the gearing, and the ice parts are pretty wide open, so you're not at a huge risk of crashing on anything. The track does also contain a cut, which is not super viable. It does save you a little bit of time, but the author medal is still going to be rather easy no matter which path you take. For author medal 342 we have the track West, which was made by Averios96, and this was the track of the day on November 16th of 2020. West was a dirt track that over 2,600 players have achieved the author medal on. Again, I got this one quite quickly, only taking me 6 minutes, finishing with a 35.451. I try not to be too harsh on tracks, but honestly, this one should never have been submitted. It also should never have been chosen. It's honestly pretty inexcusable that it was chosen on Nadeo's half. Either they didn't play test it or just completely ignored the intentional cut that you have to get the author medal. I'm not sure which is worse on Nadeo's parts, but yeah, it's pretty inexcusable that this was chosen. For author medal 343 we have the track Rigged, which was made by Proof, and this was the track of the day on August 20th of 2021. Rigged was a LOL/RPG track, really not sure how to label this one, but either way 1,200 players got the author medal on this one. I finished it in 8 minutes with a 52.025. I thought this was a very fun and very unique track, and I wish we had more stuff like this in Track of the Days as of late. There's just not a ton of variety in Track of the Days, and stuff like this could add a lot more excitement. Instead of getting the same old common styles like Tech or Dirt, something like this would add a lot more variety, a little bit more spice, and some more excitement that I feel is much needed. Maybe they're not being made anymore, maybe they're not being chosen, I have no idea, but I do think the Track of the Days miss tracks like this. For author medal 344 we have the track Steppe, which was made by Depehu, and this was the track of the day on December 22nd of 2020. Steppe was mostly a grass track, but there was one tech turn in this one, and over 800 players achieved the author medal on it, which is quite surprising as I got this one in just 4 minutes, finishing with a 41.308. This was a pretty basic track. You got the one drift and then a lot of open grass sections. I'd say the only part you got to be a little bit careful on is the upcoming grass uphill, which you need to maintain ground contact on going over the hill. Otherwise, you probably won't get the author medal, and I guess you can say that's the only part I really struggled with, even though this one, again, still only took me 4 minutes. For Author Medal 345, we have the track El Jardín, which was made by Squeagle, and it was the track of the day on November 30th of 2022. El Jardín was a dirt track that over 1,300 players have achieved the Author Medal on. This one took me 12 minutes to get, finishing with a 51.5. Because I'm just going for the author medals on these tracks and not driving the best times I could, I was definitely not driving the correct lines on this one, which honestly probably made the author medal even harder to get, because not going for the correct lines on this one makes the track lose a lot of its flow, and it makes the track much harder to drive. There was still one section of the track that I didn't care for at all, and that was a drift that was near the middle of the track. Really, it just did not fit the track at all and fell completely out of place. But other than that, with the correct lines on this one, I feel like it is at least a plus, if not a plus plus. For Author Medal 346, we have the track Slowflake, which was made by Q Low B, and it was the track of the day on October 14th of 2021. Slowflake was a tech track that about 500 players have achieved the Author Medal on, and this one took me the longest of the video, taking me 48 minutes, finishing with a 35.135. Despite my disliking of tech, I actually had a pretty good time on this track, and I think the time on it also helps a little bit in that regard, as I do prefer a shorter track. So yeah, this one was pretty good. It was also pretty tough as well, especially for someone not all that great at tech. For Author Medal 347, we have the track Silent Voices, which was made by Link, and this was the track of the day on March 21st of 2024. Silent Voices was a freewheel track that over 1,200 players have achieved the Author Medal on. This one took me 14 minutes, finishing with a 55.364. While this is certainly something different for a track of the day, honestly, I got rather bored of this one pretty quickly, as there's not a whole lot of variety run to run. You can take a little bit of a tighter line here or there, you can take a bit of a longer line between a reset and a engine off, but that's pretty much it for the track. You're pretty much driving the same thing over and over. I don't think the length of the track on this one helped either, being almost a minute long. I feel like this was a 35 or maybe 40-second track. It would have been a little bit more fun, as you can get a lot more runs in more quickly, but the length of the track, in my opinion, was just too long as well. For Author Medal 348, we have the track Ducky's Kingdom, which was made by Waka Wuck Wuck, and it was the track of the day on March 22nd of 2024. Ducky's Kingdom was a transitional track that over 1,100 players have achieved the Author Medal on. Got this one rather quickly, just taking 7 minutes, finishing with a 34.117. I thought this was an alright track, but unfortunately it contains the worst surface in the game, which is water, and it does become a problem in this track on the second water section, and whether or not the game wants you to bounce on the water or let you sink. So until they fix the physics of the water in this game, I'm going to continue to be a water hater. For Author Medal 349 and the final Author Medal in today's video, we have the track Turtle Speed Plus, which was made by Archer 2, and it was the track of the day on March 19th of 2024. Turtle Speed Plus was a full speed track that about 600 players have achieved the Author Medal on. This one took me quite a while to get, finishing at the 43-minute mark with a 44.372. I thought this was a good track overall. I just didn't care for the very final section of the track with the little turnover piece into the long straights. Just did not find that transition there to be all that smooth, but other than that, good track. I certainly need to work on my speed sliding skills to help me get these full speed authors a little bit quicker, because I don't go out of my way to practice that, and the skill is certainly lacking. But that will conclude volume number 6 here today. If you're interested in driving any of the tracks you saw, there will be links in the description to all of them. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video as well. If you did, be sure to like it and subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all next Sunday with volume 7.